We have had 8 One Piece card game sets released so far in the English version of the game, including the extra booster. And in this video, I'm going to take us where it all started with set 1, aka Romance Dawn. So without further ado, let's get into it. And at number 10, we'll start off with a crazy pick for a crazy looking character, and that is Kamazo the Manslayer. The moon in the background lighting his sights and his face along with the dynamic pose easily puts this card in the top 10 and only loses points because of the big white text box. But nonetheless, this card is still sick. Now at number 9 is a fan favorite and maybe a controversial pick. We have none other than our favorite 5 minutes of screen time every 200 chapters character, Shanks. Now, I don't need Wi-Fi hockey to tell you why this card's art is as awesome as it is. The foreshortening perspective of his arm and the fire in the background, the way his arm breaks through the frame of the card, and the overall intensity of it really bring this card together. This card only loses a point because his face looks a little less like Shanks and more like a 90s alt-rock lead singer. The next card we have up is something you probably would not find a ton of people singing its praises. But if you're like me and you love badass ninja frogs, you're gonna love this number 8 pick, Kawamatsu. The pose and the colors go so hard. This fish man's aura is bleeding through the card. He's got that green energy and that black ink contrast that swirls around him like a Demon Slayer character using their breathing technique. Another card that leaves me breathless for many reasons, and our number 7 pick is another green character that you all love, Yamato. This card was in hot debate for a while on if it's playable or bad, but one thing we know for sure that is not bad is the art. Such a striking pose with a dynamic perspective, and the Kanabo bat coming out of frame evokes so much power. Super cool colors contrasted with the blank Street Fighter type of black paint stroke in the background puts this card in the top 10. Now for this next card, you know what they say, sometimes a child can only be judged by their parent, and lucky for us that Yamato's parent also happens to have dope art. And at number 6, we have the Emperor of the Sea himself, Kaido. I love the way he is practically obliterating his own card. Such power in his swing with the Kanabo glowing, looking like it's about to dome you in the head if you even think about disagreeing with his ranking on the list. The burning house in the bag, the swords being destroyed, and the aggressive style on this card puts Kaido right towards the top of this list. We are midway through this list, but this next card's art is definitely not mid. And also probably something you wouldn't expect after seeing such raw, masculine energy. At number 5, we have Carrot. This card is exceptionally beautiful. The soft colors and the subtlety of details on the flowers around her, and the lack thereof on the leaves above her, all tie together so beautifully. The warm light illuminating her face with fluffy clouds and the adorableness of Carrot really shine on this card, and I absolutely love it. Now, not to trigger anyone with this next pick, but like the card before, this number 4 card on our list also has a trigger in its text. And I so wish this card was playable because I would activate it in a heartbeat because of how it makes my heart beat. It's almost heavenly how graceful the pose, the character model, and the colors just grab your eye. The water splashes move your attention all around the card. Gorgeous colors and the light hitting the snowflakes and her hair and feathers. Looking at this card makes me happy, and it's definitely worth the Monet it's printed on. Looking at the beautiful queen before this card, it only feels right that the next card at number 3 should be a king. And we're gonna rank King himself. What an incredible looking card that I have never wanted to be more playable than any other card in this card game. King's outfit really lends itself well to having good art. His aesthetic is so fire, and it feels like cheating when you put him on a list, because he feels like he should almost always be included. And speaking of fire, the way the flames in the back light up all of the edges on this edgy badass are so perfectly done. All hail the king. And just like every king needs his queen, he also needs a jester. So at number 2, we have none other than the clown goth princess herself, Perona. The colors alone on this card are S tier, with the playfully dynamic pose and the absolute style of this piece is something I would love to hang in my room. The way her ghosts circle around the frame, it's actually hard to find words with how good this card looks, and it might be one of the best in the game period. Before we get to number 1, we do have a couple honorable mentions. Of course, we have the most artistically beautiful card in the game. That's right, it's Marco. This is how I look judging these cards. What an incredible piece. No waste of space here. But for real, our real honorable mentions Arkrieg, and Hajruden. Bandai really does commission some of the best art in this game and then goes and puts them on cards that have no effects. Seriously? These artists cook so hard just for their art to never be in a deck. So we're gonna shout them out here. But now for our number one pick, we're gonna have to go with the number one swordsman in the world. That's right, it's Mihawk. When you look up aura in the dictionary, you will see this art right next to it. The painterly technique, the movement, and every part of this art, even though the picture is still, it looks like it's moving. And that's what you want in art. You want it to move you. The colors are so distinct and draw in your eyes, demanding your attention. The feather in his hat almost becoming the fire that is in the background, and him flexing the sword across the entire card. Man, what a badass piece of art that is, in my opinion, even cooler than his alternate art from this very same set. But we'll save alternate arts for another video. Speaking of other videos, you should watch this one right here. I really think you'll like it. And also, subscribe if you want, and tell me what art you like best from Romance Dawn. Thanks for watching.